Sometimes you choose a motorcycle for its looks or its brand. But this video is about the machines you choose for their heart. These are the engine legends, the motors that cross hundreds of thousands of miles without complaining, without failing, and without ever losing your trust. If you care about reliability, longevity, and real-world value, then you are in the right place. Number 15, Yamaha XS1100, year 1978 to 1981. Also known as the XS11. Yamaha in full overbuilt mode, big air-cooled muscle with shaft serenity that older riders still call bulletproof. This was the flagship tourer of the late 70s, built so riders could haul luggage, tow a little trailer, run interstate all day, and the motor just stayed stable. The massive inline-4 is low stress and air-cooled, which means fewer hot spots and very predictable temps. And because Yamaha paired it with a shaft drive, you lose the whole chain and sprocket headache, which is a huge comfort win for 40-plus riders. Carbs are old school but rebuildable forever, parts interchange is decent, and once you set valves and keep decent oil in it, these fours just thump along with that big, confident cadence. One rider shared, super fast, reliable, comfortable. Cycle rags used to call it King Kong in a tux. You'll see them as the standard XS11 and as the special cruiser trims, both using the same durable heart, so picking by style doesn't risk the engine. The nice thing? Clean riders usually land around 2,500 to about 5,000, depending on originality, pipes, and how tidy the wiring is, so value stays strong. Light knock? You are dealing with vintage, weight, and 4 decades old electrics, so parking lot work reminds you it's a big 70s bike, not a featherweight. That was classic Japanese muscle from the durability era. Next up is Honda's softer 𝐏𝐑𝐈 twin that European couriers ran deep into 6 figures while staying comfortable. Number 14, Honda XL650, VI 𝐏𝐄𝐑 L600, VI Transalp. Honda's Transalp is the kind of 52-degree V-twin that just keeps showing up. The bike you still see in travel photos running stable 20 years on. Built in the late 80s, before ADV was a buzzword, Honda gave it a mild tune, generous cooling, and an intake set high so it could breathe clean on bad roads. Because the motor is low stress and the heads sit where your hands can reach them, valve checks stay simple, which is why European commuters and couriers stack 6-figure mileage without drama. It is basically Honda saying, ride daily, service occasionally. Depending on market and year, you'll find 600 and 650 Transalps using the same durable architecture, so you can shop condition instead of chasing a single model code. Most of the time, used prices live around $2,500 to $4,500, rising for tidy plastics and luggage. Yes, the stock suspension and little screen feel dated compared to modern tall bikes, but that is easy money to fix with springs, oil, or a taller shield. Fuel economy stays sensible for riders, like dependable, practical commuters. The German brick coming next is even harder to kill. Throttle with us. Subscribe and ring it so you don't miss these lifetime engines ever again on this channel. Number 13, BMW's K100 series, from the LT to the RS. This is the laid on its side BMW 4 that riders and mechanics call stable because it runs cool and refuses to wear out. In the early 80s, BMW wanted an answer to Japanese inline 4s, but they engineered it conservatively, mounted it longitudinally, and let the radiator work so heat stays controlled even in slow traffic. The result is an under-stressed inline 4 that will happily stack 150 to 200,000 miles when you change fluids and keep the shaft lubricated. The shaft drive is a big reason older riders love these. No chain mess, no constant adjustments, just quiet, clean drive to the rear wheel. One rider shared, "The flying bricks are pretty tough bikes, built well, and they seem to run forever. Only issue I had was the final drive." You can find them as the K100 Standard, the RS Sport Tourer with sleeker bodywork, and the LT Full Dress Tourer with more weather protection, all sharing that durable brick motor. Clean tourers usually sit around $2,000 to $4,000, which is a deal for something with a motor good for another decade. Light downside? It is still 80s plastic, and some bikes radiate very noticeable heat in town, so a fan check and fresh coolant keep things comfortable. That was German overbuild done right. Now we go Italian shaft twin that puts the valves right in your face and keeps service simple. Number 12. Moto Guzzi's California 1100 EV model. This is the Italian shaft twin with valves right in your face, built for cops, tourers, and riders who want simple, durable miles. Across the mid-90s to mid-2000s era, Moto Guzzi sold these Californias as long-distance, low RPM cruisers, and the air/oil-cooled transverse V-twin proved reliable as long as owners kept electrical grounds clean and fluids on schedule. The beauty here is screw and lock nut valves sitting where you can reach them, so a garage rider in his 50s can keep the bike smooth without paying dealer rates. The two valve heads run cool enough, the shaft keeps the driveline clean, and the motors shrug off touring loads, screens and bags without losing stability. The cockpit is friendly for 45-plus riders. Broad saddle, relaxed bar, neutral boards, so you can enjoy the character without sacrificing comfort. Most tidy examples trade around $3,000 to $5,000, and you can sometimes steal higher-mile police or fleet bikes cheaper because the engines stay strong even when the paint fades. Light negative. There is a little top heaviness at walking pace and early bikes like good battery health, but neither issue threatens the core durability of the engine. That was character with shafties. Now we hit Kawasaki's 90s, Retro 4 that just wants clean oil and occasional valves. Number 11, Kawasaki Zephyr 750. Kawasaki Zephyr 750 is classic UJM DNA done in the 90s when parts quality was solid and engines were not overstressed, so it ages reliable. It is an air-cooled inline-4 with straightforward valves, shared components with other KLE500s, and no weird electronics, which makes it a comfortable project for riders who like to wrench on weekends. Because the tune is modest and cooling is honest, these motors stay smooth for long mileage as long as you keep clean oil in them and don't let carbs gum. And that keeps ownership costs predictable. The top speed of Kawasaki Zephyr 750. It is a proper retro standard, upright, neutral, plush enough so 40-plus riders don't get punished at wrists or knees. Most clean, unmolested examples land around $3,000 to $5,500, depending on originality, color, and miles, and that is fair money for a 4 that still looks classic. The small downside is supply. A lot of Zephyrs were customized, chopped, or just neglected, so finding a factory true example can take patience. But once you land a good one, regular fluids, valve checks, and modern rubber keep it stable reliably for years. We just did air-cooled and sensible. Next, we're going to Triumph's 800 Triple that fleet riders rack serious miles on. Number 10, Triumph Tiger 800. Triumph Tiger 800 is the midweight Triumph that stays reliable as long as you actually service it, not a track toy. Triumph built this one as an 80Vi and road twin with a smooth 800 minus the stress, so it lives peaceful even when the odometer keeps rolling. The 799cc Triple is understressed, runs cooled with proper coolant, and likes regular valve checks, which are clear in the book and totally doable for riders who have turned a wrench before. XR and XC trims can be set lower for older riders, bars can be rolled back, and once you do that, the cockpit becomes comfortable for real highway time. Owners who ride them like real bikes, steady freeway, mixed back roads, honest oil every 4,000, report these engines staying stable and leak-free past high miles. Early bikes in decent shape usually list around 4,500 to 7,500 depending on luggage, crash bars, and screen height, which is solid value for a triple that feels refined. Light complaints are vibes through the bars and helmet wind off the short screen, but both are simple fixes with risers and a taller shield, so they do not touch the motor's durability. Stick around, because the next Honda was literally built so commuters could rack 6 figures and still have dry luggage. Enjoying the ride? Hit like and drop a hype. That's how we know to dig up engines that refuse to die. Number 9. Honda NT650 by Deauville. Honda's NT650 by Deauville is the ride-to-work forever Honda that European riders kept buying because it was practical, shaft-driven, and boring in the strongest way. It uses Honda's midsize V-twin in a soft state of tune, wrapped in bodywork with built-in bags, so the engine runs reliable and the rider stays dry. This motor is not chasing horsepower, it is chasing longevity, which is why 100,000 miles is normal if you do oil, coolant, and occasional valve checks on time. The shaft means no chain mess on slushy commutes, and the fairing plus panniers make it senior-friendly for errands or cross-border weekends. Exhaust sound of Honda NT650 by Deauville. Most of these list between 2,500 and 4,000, depending on mileage, service records, and how clean the luggage doors are. So the entry price stays reasonable. Light downside: it will not thrill you off a stoplight because Honda tuned it to be peaceful, not wild. But that tame mapping is exactly what lets the engine live so lengthy. We just did a tidy Honda commuter. Now let's talk the Yamaha Rally Twin that was designed for abuse on bad fuel and rough tracks. Number 8. The Yamaha XS1100 Super Tenere from 1999 to 1996. Yamaha's XS1100 Super Tenere is a Dakar-minded twin that was built to survive, not to impress spec sheet warriors. Yamaha in that era wanted a travel bike that could handle rough terrain, patchy fuel, and long days in hotter climates, so they gave it a big parallel twin with air and oil cooling and a chassis that stayed stable in dirt trim. The engine will do ugly miles if you keep the carbs clean, run the right oil, and let the cooling system stay clear. Riders still report these motors pulling strong decades later. It is not a nervous high RPM motor, it is a tractor twin that likes mid-range and lengthy legs, which is why overlanders and police units in some markets use them for real work. Prices for decent examples generally sit around $3,000 to $5,000, depending on region, plastics, and luggage. And that feels sensible for a bike with this kind of rally durability. Light negative: the older ADVI stance is raised, so a shorter seat foam, link kit, or suspension refresh helps older riders get a secure footing without losing the bike's planted feel. If you want something with the same unkillable energy but newer BMW refinement, the K1100 coming next keeps the shaft, keeps the mile-eating motor, and adds more touring comfort. Number 7. BMW K1100 LT and K1100 RS. BMW's K1100 LT and K1100 RS are the evolved bricks. A bit more power, same stable backbone, and still that low-fuss shaft drive. BMW modernized the original K platform for the 90s touring crowd, gave it better bodywork, and kept the longitudinal layout that lets these fours run cooled and very reliable on highway miles. When riders stay honest on fluids and watch the usual BMW rubber bits, these engines routinely clear 150,000 miles, and plenty of owners push closer to 200,000 without opening the cases. You can buy solid riders between 2,500 and 4,500, which is a bargain for a shafted, fully dressed tourer with a reputation for extended service. The only real complaint is weight and the amount of plastic you have to move for some service tasks. So parking lot work reminds you it is a grand tour platform, not a naked one. We've done big tours. Now here's the Suzuki coming next. Same cockroach durability you know from the DR line, but in a more civilized jacket for road riders. Lighter to handle, easier to park, and still proven for riders who actually put on miles. You lose nothing on service access, and you gain a calmer, everyday, stable rhythm for commuting. Number 6. Suzuki XF650 Freewind. The Suzuki Freewind is the DR-based thumper that went civilized without losing the cockroach toughness riders trust. Suzuki wanted something travel-friendly for real roads in the late 90s, so they took the proven DR 650 core, softened the manners, added better bodywork, and kept the motor understressed and simple to cool. You still get basic service intervals, air and oil cooling, and a single that will run stable even on mediocre fuel if you change oil on time. Because it is still basically DR architecture, garage riders can adjust valves, clean the carb, and swap filters without special tools, which keeps ownership reliable and cheap. It sits more comfortable than the dirt version, with a friendlier seat and calmer suspension, so older riders can do day trips without getting beat up. Most clean Freewinds sell somewhere between $1,500 and $3,000, still a real bargain for a motor this durable. Reliability stays strong in hot climates too. The only real drawback is that plastics and trim pieces can be harder to replace cleanly today, so buy the straightest one you can find and protect it. That was the road-tuned DR idea. Now we climb back up to a big modern triple tourer that fleets ran for high miles. Don't hit the brake, subscribe, and ride with us. Big Triumphs and Mile Eaters are still coming today, all next for real riders. At number 5, Triumph Trophy S E1215. The Trophy SE is a giant British tourer that is way tougher than the market thinks, because Triumph built it around the same reliable big triple family that powered the Explorer and intended it for high-mileage European riders. This 1215cc triple is understressed, runs cool, and feeds a shaft drive, so you get long service intervals and very little daily fuss. You climb on and get an electric screen for instant wind management, a plush saddle that actually supports hips, and bodywork that keeps shoulders silent at highway pace, which is exactly what senior riders want on all-day interstates. The chassis stays stable with luggage and a passenger, and modern brakes plus electronics were tuned to be practical, not fussy. Owners who follow Triumph's fluid schedule report these engines staying smooth and leak-free past serious mileage, because the core design is not being pushed. Service history from a careful owner makes these even more appealing to touring buyers. Used pricing usually lands around $5,000 to $8,000, since these were underrated in the US, making them a strong value for riders who actually tour. Only real negative is size. Parking lot turns and backing into a garage remind you it is a full dress machine. But once rolling, it becomes very balanced. Big plush tourer done, now we'll drop into a lighter Kawasaki twin that is basically unkillable for everyday riding. Number 4, Kawasaki KLE500. Kawasaki's KLE500 is what happens when you take the durable EX and GPZ 500 twin and stand it upright for rougher roads and light ADV. The motor is soft-tuned, the bottom end is proven from years of commuter use, and lots of parts are shared with other Kawasaki's. So keeping it reliable is mostly oil, coolant, and occasional valve checks. Stock screen is basic, but taller aftermarket shields create a quieter pocket for highway seniors and reduce chest buffet on windy days. The riding position is friendly and not extreme, which makes it a smart option for riders who want a taller view and better suspension travel without dealing with huge seat heights. Most examples on the used market live between $1,800 and $3,500, depending on condition and luggage, so entry cost stays low. Real-world owners praise the composed handling, the simple carb setup, and the fact that the engine keeps pulling even when you load bags. Light negative. Power is modest if you are used to liter bikes, but the trade is long life and easy parts. We've done budget and mid-weight. Now let's talk the American Vi-Twin Tourer that clears 6 figures without whining. Number 3, Victory Cross Country and Cross Country Tour, Freedom 106. This is the American bagger that made riders wonder why Victory ever closed, because the Polaris Freedom 106 Vi-Twin is truly reliable and very understressed. Victory built these for real US touring. Belt final drive to stay clean, a big alternator to power lights and heated gear, and wide fairings that keep older riders comfortable on long turnpikes. The engine is the headline. Big cubes, cool running cases, sensible camming, and a bottom end that shrugs off highway RPM for hours. So with regular oil and belt checks, these bikes blow past 100,000 miles. Plenty of owners have documented 6-figure bikes still on original internals, which tells you the core design was stable from the factory. Fleet users saw similar durable results with scheduled fluids. Mileage-honest cross-country and cross-country tour models usually land between 5,500 and 9,000, depending on luggage, audio, and paint. And that is fair for something this capable. The only real knock is that victory is gone, so body panels or odd trim can take hunting. But the motors themselves are the opposite of fragile, and normal service parts are still available. Big American Tourer done. Now we go back to Honda's simpler shaft, V-twin, that older riders can flat foot and run for years without stress. Number 2, Honda NTV 650 and the NTV 650 Revere, late 80s to late 90s. Honda's NTV 650, also sold as the Revere, is the Deauville idea made even simpler. A low-tune V-twin, shaft in the back, and almost no day-to-day drama. Honda built it as a durable Euro standard for commuters who ride in rain, park outside, and still expect the engine to stay reliable. The motor is a modest, very civil V-twin that doesn't chase RPM, which keeps heat and internal stress lower. And the valve checks are clear enough for garage riders who like simple jobs. Because the bike uses a shaft, chain mess is gone, sprocket costs are gone, and seniors get a clean, stable drive for years. Keep coolant and oil fresh. And these little Hondas will stack real mileage. Plenty of riders in Europe took them deep into 6 figures with nothing more than scheduled service. Prices are still overlooked, usually around 1,800 to 3,500 depending on cosmetics. So you get Honda longevity without Honda premium. Light negative, this is not a wow bike on power. It is about peaceful, predictable torque and low running costs, not quarter-mile numbers. Stick with us. The last engine is the Overlander single that proves simple can still be legendary. Still here? Hit like and drop a hype helps other high-mileage riders see these reliable engines. Number 1, the Yamaha XT660Z Tenere and the XT660R. Overlanders bought this Yamaha for a reason. It survives. The Minarelli 660 single ran across Europe, Africa, and dusty back roads because it was designed to be durable first. It is a torquey thumper with EFI on later years, so starts stay reliable and fueling stays smooth even when the weather swings. The engine is not stressed hard. The service is one-cylinder simple, and it will tolerate sketchy fuel that would make fussier bikes miserable. Owners who ride dirt plus highway report these motors going long distances with routine oil, filters, and valve checks, which is what you want when you are far from home. Seat and cockpit are upright and comfortable for mature riders, and racks or boxes bolt on easily for travel loads. Used pricing usually lands around $3,500 to $6,000, depending on guards, luggage, and miles. And the ones with travel extras are worth the bump because the core engine is so proven. Light downside, it is still a thumper, so at highway pace you can feel vibes. Taller gearing, a better seat, or bar weights tame that. This is the purest version of will last forever in the single world. Simple, well-known, easy to service, and truly trusted by riders who go remote. Click the next video to keep the ride going. More engines and bikes that don't quit. Then hit subscribe so you stay connected. Drop your mileage, what failed first, and which forever motor we should ADD next.